Hello and welcome to Gretna High School's podcast, The Voice. Today, Hannah Morrison will be interviewing choral instructor Mr. Brandon Shostak on his musical career and what it means to be a director for Gretna High School.
So, starting at the beginning of things, what actually got you started in music?
I don't remember much of my childhood, as most of us don't, but I do remember, as a little kid, probably in diapers, singing into a comb with my Fisher-Price record player, singing a record with Ride a Painted Pony and an Elvis song. I don't know which one it was specifically, but I remember dancing around the house singing to that. And then there has always been music in the house, playing in the kitchen or playing in the car. Whenever I'd be upset, I'd need music in the background. So it was always a staple.
Yeah.
It was always just a part of me.
So how did that translate to high school?
When I was a middle schooler, my voice was changing as all adolescent boys' voices go through. Yeah. And I was told by I'm guessing a very understanding person at the time, that maybe singing wasn't for me. Probably because I picked the wrong songs, or it was just not that time of that placement in my voice. But I took it as, you're not a singer. So then I didn't sing for the rest of my middle school career. And into my freshman year of high school, my director, Tim Watson, heard me at church singing a hymn in my tenor voice and said I should audition for Allstate. I had no idea what Allstate was, but I just spit back, oh no, I'm not much of a singer, just kind of regurgitating the words. He said, give me a couple months, it's free, you know where I work, and if you don't like it, you can quit. Just give it a try. So I said, oh, okay. And from that little domino flick led me to, I could teach this stuff, whether privately or in a school setting. So yeah.
Cool. So along with the choral arts, you also teach guitar. Mm-hmm. So how long have you been playing guitar?
Actively playing, scarily, a year. As hobbyists, I think most people are hobbyists when they say, I try to play guitar.
For sure.
Trying is equal. I don't really play guitar, but I look at it every once in a while and brush the dust off every once in a while. I've had the guitar in my possession for at least 3 years, but then the opportunity came up that I could get out of teaching study hall. Disclaimer, I love watching study halls and just watching people, but I would have had the opportunity last year to teach guitar. So I talked to Mr. Norris. He was more needed at the middle school when that wasn't existing yet, the second middle school. And then when the baton went from him to me was over the summer when we got the okay, Shostak's going to teach guitar, and then Norris will be more at the middle school. I didn't know how to formally teach guitar in a class setting, since most people come with various levels of, I know how to play this. So I got the best advice. It sounds so anecdotal, but the best advice from a band teacher in Canada when I was Airbnb-ing in the summer when my wife was travel nursing. And he said, you're teaching guitar? I go, yeah. First time? Yeah. He said, dude, they just want to look cool around a campfire, so just make them cool around a campfire.
Fair
so that
enough.
was my mantra for the entire first semester.
Yeah.
And I told parents that, I've told teachers that, and they're like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
So it's been a very laid back kind of teaching, which I guess is my style.
Yeah, that's cool. So then outside of school, what productions have you been involved in?
Not as much recently due to my now 1-year-old cherub called Logan. But I've been, just recapping my resume, I've been with the Rose Children's Theater for Sue's Golden Musical, some other children's shows throughout the school year when I wasn't actively teaching in the school system. Done a lot of gigs with Opera Omaha and the Holland Performing Arts Center with the Omaha Symphony, some Halloween gigs, the Christmas gigs. So if you were in the audience seeing the 20-somethings on stage all being Santa, there was a chance that I could have been one of those Santas. Obviously difficult to tell. Various gigs with Opera Omaha over the past, I want to say, 5 years now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you clearly have a strong love for music, and it's been a part of your life in many different ways.
Yeah.
So You also direct Evolution, a show choir.
Yes.
What's that been like this year?
That has been the definition of the word. It has been ever-changing, especially this time of week. A lot of sickness going around. Soloists have been dropping out just because they're sick, and I get it. Life happens. So having to cover things last minute. But it's a new thing this year that I'm trying to have an all-women varsity-level show choir when it hasn't ever been that, along top with Neo, the third show choir. So there's been a lot of new stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of things time management-wise that Mr. Rebar and I have been trying to wrap our brains around to make it the best. But so far, it's been really good.
For sure,
A
yeah.
good learning experience.
How did you choose the show this year? Because it's very different from most women groups. I feel like.
Yeah. I think last school year when I did kind of the typical women's set of a show choir performance, I wanted to deviate that just because at my heart of hearts I am a different individual. So I thought, let's just do a show that's completely different. And for some reason, I really liked the song Fix You / How to Save a Life mashup that I saw someone on a YouTube video play, just piano and voice. And I sent that to my arranger and I said, can you make a ballad out of this? Because if you can make this work, I've got a show to center around this whole thing. And it's been very therapeutic because Levels of Insanity, I've been trying to make every song how someone can go crazy, or, oh, we're living in a crazy world, or, hey, you crazy dreamer kind of thing, or let's get crazy and amped up and excited. How to define that song by song. And then that kind of helped me pick the dresses that were different and darker in color, to not do your typical nude-colored pantyhose, to go to jazz shoes. So everything about it was different, and we've been getting the good judges' comments saying it was such a nice change of pace when they see, X amount of show choirs as being typical in the women's category, and then they see us. And then they're like, oh, it's already putting us in the better light because we're choosing to be different.
Yeah, because I feel like it's usually shows that are based around women empowerment, which are great, but it's show after show of that is, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It gets a little mind-numbing, a little hypnotic, and you just kind of go through the motions. You get stuck in autopilot, so I have to change it up somewhat differently just to have my own spin on it.
For sure. So then outside of music, I know you have a lot of different hobbies involving being a life coach and meditation and voice lessons and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. How do you manage that all?
I still don't know how.
Yeah.
I think it's a give and take. With so many things that you put on your metaphorical plate, something has to give. Mm-hmm. So at times, especially with Logan now, I've had less time to dedicate, a full 30 minutes to meditation, so now it has to be in the car or a few minutes before show choir practice starts.
Yeah.
But at least I set up the foundation of all these different techniques, life coaching specifically talking.
So what is it like to be a life coach? How do you help people in that way?
Life coaching is the most challenging, rewarding, really otherworldly thing, because I think a lot of people are interested in what I call the shiny stuff, or what other people call crunchy granola, or new age kind of spinny things. And people are curious about it, but they're scared to ask questions about it because of how they were raised, without trying to go into a life coaching session all of a sudden. So I started with life coaching primarily to therapize myself. Went through a lot of crazy life changes. I lost my mother-in-law. She lost her battle of depression, which led to suicide, a very taboo thing as well, along with, the shiny things that people are curious. So I thought, I'm just going to tackle this head on, try to absorb as much as I can, and then through the different mediums of what people are interested in, try to learn as much and make sense of it to what makes sense within their lives. Yeah. So I kind of try to metaphysically walk a mile in their shoes and then try to make sense of it through the different tools that I've learned so far. And it's an ever-changing process because there's more stuff that becomes a thing. Yeah. So then I have to learn that thing or try to absorb as much of it.
Kind of adapt to it.
Yeah. And work with the clients.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. Shostak, for giving us a breakdown of what it's like to be a choral instructor at Gretna High School and for sharing a little background on yourself.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Tune in next time for another episode of the Voice Podcast.